Tonight, we're embarking on a journey, not across oceans or continents, but deep into the heart of America itself. We'll be exploring the stories of our most iconic cities, places that are more than just dots on a map. They are living, breathing entities, each with a unique pulse, a distinct rhythm. From the steel canyons of the East Coast to the sun-drenched boulevards of the West, we're going to uncover the layers of history, culture, and transformation that have shaped these urban landscapes into the global powerhouses they are today. Each city's name is a clue, a breadcrumb leading back through time, revealing a past rich with conflict, collaboration, and reinvention. The story of America is not a single narrative. It's a complex mosaic, a collection of millions of individual stories that converge in these bustling metropolises. The names they carry, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, are echoes of the people who built them. Media Group, Statue of Liberty close-up, Ellis Island, archival footage of immigrants arriving, Native American landmarkers, murals depicting city founders at stock at distribute _equally, native tribes, European colonists, waves of immigrants, and visionaries who dared to dream of something new. Through their histories, their triumphs, and their struggles, these cities tell the story of America's own evolution. They reflect our nation's diversity, our unyielding spirit of innovation, and our constant striving for a more perfect union. This is more than just a tour of famous landmarks. It's an exploration of the American identity, one city at a time. So join me as we peel back the layers and discover the remarkable stories behind America's greatest cities. Our journey begins here in New York City. Before the skyscrapers pierced the clouds, before the yellow cabs became an emblem, this island was a verdant landscape known to the Lenape people as Mannahatta, the land of many hills. It's a name that speaks to a natural world almost unimaginable today, buried beneath layers of concrete and steel. The story of modern New York starts not with the English, but with the Dutch, who in the early 17th century established a trading post at the southern tip of this island. They called it New Amsterdam. This wasn't a grand imperial project at first. It was a commercial enterprise, a foothold for the Dutch West India Company, driven by the lucrative fur trade. The settlement was a melting pot from its earliest days, a place of commerce where various languages could be heard on the streets. It was a pragmatic, multicultural, and tolerant society, not out of high-minded ideals necessarily, but because business thrived on it. This foundational DNA, this focus on commerce and a certain acceptance of diversity, would become a defining characteristic of the city for centuries to come. But empires shift and powers wane. In 1664, a fleet of English ships sailed into the harbor demanding surrender. The Dutch governor, Peter Stuyvesant, without the means to mount a defense, yielded the colony without a single shot being fired. The English king, Charles II, had gifted this land to his brother, the Duke of York. And so, New Amsterdam was renamed New York, a symbolic act of conquest that would forever link the city's identity to the British crown, at least for a time. The city grew under British rule, its strategic harbor making it a vital port in the colonies. It became a center of trade, finance, and political tension. The seeds of revolution were sown on its cobblestone streets, in its taverns and print shops. When independence was won, New York briefly served as the first capital of the United States, the very place where George Washington took the oath of office. It was a city already accustomed to reinvention, shedding its colonial past to embrace a new American identity. Today, New York City stands as the nation's largest metropolis, a behemoth of more than 8 million people. It is the undeniable epicenter of global finance, with Wall Street's influence reaching every corner of the world. But its power isn't just economic. It's a cultural dynamo, a beacon for artists, writers, musicians, and dreamers. From the theaters of Broadway to the galleries of Chelsea, from the concert halls of Lincoln Center to the hip-hop battlegrounds of the Bronx, the city dictates and defines global culture. The echoes of New Amsterdam are still here, if you know where to look. The street grid of Lower Manhattan still follows the old Dutch layout. The city's relentless energy, its embrace of ambition, its status as a sanctuary for people from every nation on Earth. These traits were embedded in its character from the very beginning. It is a city built by waves of immigrants, from the Irish and Italians of the 19th century to the diverse arrivals of today, each group adding a new thread to its impossibly rich tapestry. New York is a vertical city, always reaching, always striving. It has faced unimaginable tragedy and has always rebuilt, stronger and more defiant. It is a symbol of resilience, a testament to the human capacity to create, to endure, and to thrive against all odds. To understand New York is to understand the relentless, forward-moving engine of the American dream, a place where the past is always present, but the future is always being built. We travel west now across the continent to a city born of sunshine and Spanish ambition, Los Angeles. Its full name tells a story in itself. El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles, or the town of Our Lady the Queen of the Angels. A name so grand, so poetic, it seems to foreshadow the city's destiny as a place of myth and fantasy. It was founded in 1781 by a group of Spanish settlers known as Los Pobladores, a diverse mix of people of Native American, African, and European descent. This was a remote outpost of the Spanish Empire, a small farming community established near the river that would also bear a celestial name, the Los Angeles River. For decades, it remained a dusty, quiet pueblo, part of a network of missions and presidios designed to solidify Spain's and later Mexico's claim on California. Its early life was tied to the land, to cattle ranching and agriculture, a far cry from the sprawling metropolis we know today. The spirit of the place was slow, sun-baked, and isolated. The transformation began with the arrival of the Americans in the mid-19th century, following the Mexican-American War. The discovery of gold in Northern California brought a flood of people to the state, but it was the arrival of the railroad in 1876 that truly put Los Angeles on the map. Promoters sold a dream of a Mediterranean paradise, a land of orange groves and perpetual sunshine, luring Midwesterners seeking a healthier climate and a new start. The city began to sprawl, its growth fueled by water imported from distant valleys. But the defining industry, the one that would forever shape the city's identity and export its image to the world, arrived in the early 20th century. Fledgling filmmakers seeking to escape Thomas Edison's patent enforcement on the East Coast and drawn by the reliable weather and varied landscapes, set up shop in a sleepy suburb called Hollywood. They found they could film a desert epic, a mountain adventure, and an ocean voyage all within a short drive. The Dream Factory was born. Los Angeles became the global capital of entertainment. The iconic Hollywood sign, originally reading Hollywoodland, became a beacon for aspiring actors, writers, and directors. The city's culture became inextricably linked with the silver screen, a place where reality and fantasy often blur. It's a city built on narratives, on the power of storytelling to shape perception and desire. The glamour of Beverly Hills, the surf culture of Malibu, the gritty noir of downtown, these are all images projected and perfected by the industry it hosts. Beyond the Klieg lights, however, lies one of the most diverse cities on the planet. Los Angeles is a patchwork of distinct communities, a microcosm of the world. From the vibrant culture of East LA, a historic center of Chicano life, to the thriving enclaves of Koreatown, Little Ethiopia, and Tarangelis, the city is a testament to the constant flow of global migration. Each neighborhood maintains its own unique cultural flavor, its own foods, languages, and traditions, creating a dynamic and ever-changing urban fabric. Today, Los Angeles grapples with the challenges of its immense scale: traffic, housing, inequality. Yet it remains a city of boundless optimism and creativity. It is a leader in industries beyond entertainment, from aerospace to tech to international trade through its massive port. The City of Angels continues to be a destination for dreamers, a place where people from all over the world come to reinvent themselves under the California sun, adding their own stories to the ongoing epic of LA. Our path now leads us to the heart of the Midwest, to a city forged by fire and ambition on the shores of Lake Michigan, Chicago. The name itself is a link to the land's original inhabitants. It derives from the Algonquian word Chica-Aqua, a name for the wild leeks or onions that grew abundantly along the riverbanks. It's a humble, earthy origin for a city that would become a muscular, towering symbol of American industry and architectural innovation. Founded as a town in 1833, Chicago's strategic location was its destiny. It sat at a crucial portage point connecting the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River system, making it a natural hub for the westward expansion of the nation. It quickly became the nexus of America's railroads, the place where cattle from the western plains met grain from the prairies, all to be processed and shipped to the booming cities of the East. It was a city of stockyards and steel mills, a brawny, hard-working town that embodied the raw power of the Gilded Age. Then came the defining moment in its history. In October 1871, the Great Chicago Fire tore through the city, which was built largely of wood. For 3 days it raged, leveling the entire central business district and leaving a third of the population homeless. It was a catastrophe of epic proportions. But what came next was even more remarkable. Chicago saw the devastation not as an end, but as a blank canvas, an opportunity to rebuild, bigger, better, and more audacious than before. This spirit of rebirth gave rise to the world's first skyscrapers. Architects like Louis Sullivan and Daniel Burnham flocked to the city, pioneering new techniques using steel frame construction. They created a new urban form, a vertical city that would become the model for metropolises around the globe. The Chicago School of Architecture was born from the ashes, a testament to the city's resilience and its unshakable belief in progress. Chicago became a laboratory for the modern city. But Chicago's soul isn't just in its skyline, it's in its sound. In the early 20th century, the Great Migration brought hundreds of thousands of African Americans from the rural South to the city's industrial jobs. They brought with them the blues, which, when plugged into electric amplifiers in the smoky clubs of the South Side, became the raw, powerful Chicago blues. This sound would influence generations of musicians worldwide. Later, the city would become a cradle for jazz, with legends like Louis Armstrong electrifying audiences in its vibrant clubs. This cultural richness extends to its culinary traditions. Chicago is a city that takes its food seriously, and it's known for dishes that are as robust and unpretentious as the city itself. From the deep dish pizza, a hearty and debated local invention, to the Chicago-style hot dog meticulously dragged through the garden with a specific set of toppings, the city's food is a reflection of its working-class roots and the diverse immigrant communities, like the Germans and Poles, who helped shape its palate. Today, Chicago remains a quintessential American city. It's a world-class center for finance, commerce, and culture, with renowned museums, theaters, and universities. Yet it still retains its Midwestern character, grounded, straightforward, and resilient. It's a city of neighborhoods, each with a distinct identity. From the historic brownstones of Lincoln Park to the vibrant murals of Pilsen, Chicago's story is written on its streets, a story of grit, innovation, and an enduring spirit that could not be extinguished by fire. We now journey south, to the sprawling plains of Texas, to a city built on bold ventures and boundless energy. Houston. The city's name is a direct tribute to a larger-than-life figure of Texas history, General Sam Houston. He was the commander who secured Texas's independence from Mexico at the Battle of San Jacinto and served as the first president of the Republic of Texas. The city was founded in 1836, just months after that pivotal battle, by two real estate entrepreneurs, the Allen brothers, who saw potential in a swampy piece of land near Buffalo Bayou. Their vision was grand, advertising the yet-to-be-built city as a future great interior commercial emporium of Texas. For much of its early history, Houston was a modest commercial center for the cotton and timber industries, grappling with yellow fever epidemics and the humid Gulf Coast climate. Its fate, and the fate of the entire region, would be transformed by a single event at the dawn of the 20th century, the discovery of oil at Spindletop, a nearby salt dome, in 1901. The Spindletop gusher unleashed an oil boom of unprecedented scale. Houston, with its access to the Gulf of Mexico via a newly dredged ship channel, was perfectly positioned to become the capital of this new energy empire. Oil refineries and petrochemical plants sprang up along the waterway, and the city's skyline began to rise, fueled by black gold. Houston became synonymous with oil, a city of wildcatters and executives, where fortunes were made and lost, shaping a culture of risk-taking and relentless growth. But another entirely different kind of exploration would define Houston in the second half of the 20th century. In 1961, NASA selected Houston as the site for its manned spacecraft center, now known as the Johnson Space Center. Suddenly, the city was at the forefront of humanity's greatest adventure, the quest to reach the moon. The famous words, "Houston, we have a problem," broadcast from the Apollo 13 mission, forever cemented the city's name in the lexicon of space exploration. This new identity as Space City attracted a new generation of scientists, engineers, and innovators from across the country and around the world. It fostered a culture of high-tech research and development that complemented its industrial base. The presence of NASA and the world-renowned Texas Medical Center, the largest medical complex in the world, transformed Houston into a leading hub for science, medicine, and technology, proving its ambitions reached far beyond the oil fields. In recent decades, Houston has become one of America's most ethnically and racially diverse major cities, a fact that surprises many who only know its cowboy and oilman image. Driven by its robust economy and welcoming attitude, it has become a major destination for immigrants from all over the globe. In particular, the city boasts one of the most vibrant and largest South Asian communities in the United States, with thriving Indian, Pakistani, and Vietnamese populations that have profoundly enriched the city's cultural and culinary landscape. Today's Houston is a city of immense scale and complexity. It's a global energy capital grappling with the transition to a more sustainable future, a leader in space exploration, and a remarkable model of 21st century diversity. From its humble beginnings on a muddy bayou named for a Texas hero, Houston has consistently proven the Allen brothers' initial advertisement right. It is a city that embodies the Texan spirit of thinking big, taking risks, and building the future. Our journey now returns to the West Coast, to a city of dramatic hills and iconic vistas, a place of fog and fortune, San Francisco. Its story begins with Spanish explorers who in 1776 established a presidio, or military fort, and a mission named Mission San Francisco de Asis, in honor of St. Francis of Assisi. For years it was a small, remote settlement known as Yerba Buena, Spanish for good herb, named for the wild mint that grew on its hillsides. Life in Yerba Buena was quiet, a distant outpost in the vast Spanish and later Mexican territory of Alta California. It was a trading post for whalers and merchants. But in 1848, everything changed. Just days after California was ceded to the United States, gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill, about 100 miles to the east. The news spread like wildfire, and the sleepy village of Yerba Buena, newly renamed San Francisco, was transformed overnight into the bustling gateway to the goldfields. This was the California Gold Rush. An unprecedented wave of humanity descended on the city from every corner of the globe. Prospectors, merchants, and adventurers, known as the 49ers, poured into the muddy streets, hoping to strike it rich. It was a chaotic, lawless, and dynamic time. The city's population exploded, and it grew with dizzying speed. San Francisco's identity was forged in this crucible of ambition, a place where fortunes could be made instantly and lost just as fast. As the city matured, it retained this spirit of boldness and innovation. It rebuilt with astonishing speed after the devastating 1906 earthquake and fire, an event that leveled much of the city. And in the 1930s, during the Great Depression, it undertook one of the most ambitious engineering feats of its time: the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge. The majestic international orange-colored bridge became more than just a piece of infrastructure. It became the enduring symbol of the city, a monument to human ingenuity and a gateway to the Pacific. San Francisco has also long been a sanctuary for nonconformists and a beacon for social change. In the 1950s, it was the epicenter of the Beat generation, with writers like Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg challenging the conventions of post-war America. This countercultural spirit blossomed in the 1960s with the Summer of Love in the Haight-Ashbury district, a movement that had a profound impact on youth culture worldwide. This legacy of tolerance and activism laid the groundwork for San Francisco to become a pivotal center for the LGBTQ+ rights movement. In the 1970s, the Castro district emerged as a vibrant and politically powerful gay neighborhood. The election of Harvey Milk as one of the first openly gay officials in the United States was a landmark moment. San Francisco became a haven, a place where people could live openly and fight for their rights, cementing its reputation as a city at the forefront of social progress. Today, San Francisco finds itself at the heart of another gold rush, the tech boom of Silicon Valley, which lies just to its south. The city is a hub for venture capital and innovation, drawing a new generation of dreamers and entrepreneurs. While this has brought immense wealth, it has also created challenges, particularly around affordability and inequality. Yet, through it all, San Francisco remains a city of breathtaking beauty and undeniable character, a place defined by its dramatic landscape, its history of reinvention, and its enduring role as a beacon for those who dare to be different. We now travel to the political heart of the nation, a city that was not born organically but designed from the ground up to be the capital of a new republic, Washington, D.C. Its name is a powerful statement, honoring two foundational figures. Washington pays tribute to George Washington, the nation's first president, who personally selected the site. The District of Columbia is a poetic reference to Christopher Columbus, a name that in the 18th century was used as a lyrical synonym for America itself. The city's location was a political compromise. Following the Revolutionary War, tensions flared between northern and southern states over where the permanent capital should be located. The Residence Act of 1790 placed it on the Potomac River, on land ceded by Maryland and Virginia, a location that appeased both sides. It was to be a federal district belonging not to any single state, but to the nation as a whole. President Washington hired French-American architect Pierre-Charles L'Enfant to design a grand capital. L'Enfant envisioned a city of broad avenues, public squares, and monumental architecture, a landscape that would reflect the power and ideals of the new government. His plan, with its grid of streets overlaid with diagonal avenues radiating from the Capitol and the President's house, was designed to be both functional and symbolic. It was a bold, ambitious plan for a nation that was still in its infancy, a physical manifestation of the principles laid out in the Constitution. The city grew slowly and was even burned by the British during the War of 1812. For much of the 19th century, it was seen as a sleepy provincial town, its grand avenues often muddy and incomplete. Its transformation into the monumental city we know today occurred over many decades, with the construction of its iconic landmarks, the towering Washington Monument, the stately Lincoln Memorial, and the Jefferson Memorial, each a shrine to a key figure in the American story. Washington, D.C. is the workplace of the federal government. Here, in the halls of the U.S. Capitol, laws are debated and passed. At the White House, the president makes decisions that affect the entire world. And at the Supreme Court, the nation's highest legal principles are interpreted and upheld. The city's rhythm is tied to the cycles of politics, elections, inaugurations, and the daily business of governance. It is a city of power, ambition, and consequence. But D.C. is more than just government buildings. It is one of the world's great museum cities. The Smithsonian Institution, a collection of 19 museums and galleries, offers an unparalleled repository of the nation's treasures, from the Star-Spangled Banner to the Spirit of St. Louis airplane. These institutions, mostly free to the public, are a testament to the democratic ideal of access to knowledge and culture, earning the city the nickname America's Attic. Beyond the National Mall, Washington, D.C. is a vibrant city with its own unique culture and diverse neighborhoods. From the historic African-American community of U Street, once known as Black Broadway, to the international embassies and diplomatic corps that give the city a global flavor, D.C. has a rich local life that exists alongside its federal identity. It is a city where history is made daily, a living monument to the American experiment in self-government, constantly evolving and reflecting the nation it serves. Our travels take us to the southeastern tip of the United States, to a city defined by its tropical climate, vibrant energy, and deep connection to Latin America, Miami. The city's name has Native American roots, likely derived from the Miami, a tribe that lived around Lake Okeechobee in the 16th and 17th centuries. The name of the lake itself meant big water, and the Miami River carried that name to the bay, a subtle reminder of the region's indigenous past, long before the city existed. For centuries, the area was a sparsely populated swampland. The person credited with envisioning its future was Julia Tuttle, a wealthy citrus grower from Cleveland, who is now known as the Mother of Miami. In the harsh winter of 1894-95, when a severe freeze destroyed citrus crops across Florida, Tuttle famously sent a fresh orange blossom to railroad magnate Henry Flagler to prove the region was frost-free. Convinced, Flagler extended his Florida East Coast Railway south, and the city of Miami was incorporated in 1896. The city earned its nickname, the Magic City, because of its astonishingly rapid growth. It seemed to spring up overnight. In the 1920s, a massive real estate boom brought a flood of investment and new residents, and the city's iconic Art Deco architecture began to take shape in Miami Beach. Miami was sold as a glamorous winter playground for the wealthy, a sun-drenched paradise of beaches, palm trees, and luxury hotels. A pivotal transformation occurred in the second half of the 20th century, beginning with the Cuban Revolution in 1959. Hundreds of thousands of Cubans fleeing the Castro regime sought refuge in Miami. This influx of refugees fundamentally reshaped the city's demographic and cultural landscape. The neighborhood of Little Havana became the vibrant heart of the Cuban-American community, a place of potent coffee, cigar shops, and passionate political discourse. The city became bilingual and bicultural. Miami's identity is inextricably linked to its role as a gateway to Latin America and the Caribbean. It's a major center for international trade, finance, and media, connecting the United States with its southern neighbors. The influences of Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela, Haiti, and many other nations are felt everywhere. In the music that spills onto the streets, the flavors that define its cuisine, and the languages spoken in its businesses. It is in many ways the unofficial capital of Latin America. This global connection makes Miami a magnet for international tourism. Visitors from around the world are drawn to its famous beaches, its pulsating nightlife, and its thriving arts scene, highlighted by events like Art Basel Miami Beach. The city's visual identity, the pastel colors of the Art Deco historic district, the turquoise water, the sleek modern high-rises, has been broadcast globally through television and film, creating a powerful image of glamour and excitement. Today, Miami is a dynamic, multicultural metropolis, grappling with 21st century challenges like climate change and rising sea levels. Yet it continues to evolve, fueled by waves of new arrivals and a persistent spirit of reinvention. From its origins as a small settlement on the edge of the Everglades, Miami has magically transformed itself into a major global city, a colorful and complex crossroads where the cultures of North and South America meet. For our final stop, we return to the East Coast, to the city where the United States was born, Philadelphia. The name itself is a profound statement of intent. It comes from Greek, combining philos meaning love and adelphos meaning brother, the city of brotherly love. This was the name chosen by its founder, William Penn, in 1682. It was to be the capital of his new Pennsylvania colony, a place founded on principles of religious freedom and tolerance. William Penn, a Quaker, envisioned his colony as a holy experiment. At a time of intense religious persecution in Europe, he planned a city where people of different faiths and backgrounds could live together in peace. He designed a rational grid of streets, a departure from the chaotic winding lanes of European cities, and named them not after saints or nobles, but after trees, chestnut, walnut, spruce, a gesture of simplicity and connection to nature. Philadelphia quickly became the largest and most important city in colonial America. Its port thrived on trade with the West Indies, and it became a center of intellectual and cultural life. Benjamin Franklin, its most famous resident, embodied the city's spirit of ingenuity and civic-mindedness, establishing its first library, hospital, and fire company. The city was a hub of new ideas, a place where the concepts of liberty and self-governance were passionately debated. It was this fertile intellectual ground that made Philadelphia the natural stage for the American Revolution. In 1774, the First Continental Congress convened at Carpenter's Hall. 2 years later, in the Pennsylvania State House, now known as Independence Hall, the Second Continental Congress took a monumental step. On July 4, 1776, they adopted the Declaration of Independence, a radical document that proclaimed the colony's separation from Britain and articulated the universal rights of man. The city's role as the nation's cradle did not end there. After the Revolutionary War, the delegates returned to Independence Hall in 1787 to address the weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation. Through a summer of intense debate, they drafted a new framework for the nation, the United States Constitution. For a decade, from 1790 to 1800, Philadelphia served as the temporary capital of the new nation, the place where the very foundations of American government were laid. As the nation grew, Philadelphia evolved into an industrial powerhouse. It was a leader in manufacturing, textiles, and locomotive construction, earning the nickname Workshop of the World. This industrial might drew waves of immigrants, particularly from Ireland, Germany, and Italy, who settled in distinct neighborhoods and contributed to the city's rich cultural fabric. It became a city of row houses, a city of hardworking families who powered its factories and mills. Today, Philadelphia is a city where history is palpable. You can walk the same cobblestone streets as the Founding Fathers, stand in the very room where the Declaration was signed, and see the Liberty Bell, an enduring symbol of American freedom. But it is also a vibrant, modern city with world-class universities, a thriving arts scene, and a passionate sports culture. It is a city of murals, a city of renowned food traditions from the cheesesteak to the soft pretzel, a city that proudly balances its historic legacy with a dynamic present. Our journey through these 8 cities reveals a powerful truth. Each one is a chapter in the larger story of America. From the commercial ambitions of New Amsterdam to the revolutionary ideals of Philadelphia, from the fiery rebirth of Chicago to the celestial dreams of Houston, these urban centers are not just collections of buildings. They are living archives of our nation's journey, reflecting our highest aspirations and our most profound struggles. They embody a relentless spirit of freedom, a constant negotiation of diversity, and an unceasing drive for innovation that has defined the American experience. These cities are the crucibles where the American identity has been forged and reforged. They are the gateways through which millions have sought opportunity, the stages on which our most important cultural and political dramas have played out, and the laboratories where the future is constantly being invented. The stories of their names, their foundations, and their transformations show us that America has never been a static idea, but a dynamic and often contentious process of becoming. They are a testament to our capacity for resilience, for reinvention, and for building something new out of the diverse threads of our shared past. The story of America's major cities is the story of America itself, ever-evolving, diverse, and influential on the world stage.
Ready for a history adventure? Join our community. Subscribe to World History, smash that like, share with friends, and drop your thoughts below. Let's make history together. See you in the comments.